Hello, and today I'll be teaching you the basics and advanced things about the legislative branch. In 1787, leaders of the states gathered to write the Constitution, which is a set of principles that told how the new nation would be governed. The leaders of the states wanted a strong and fair national government, but they also wanted to protect the individual freedoms and prevent the government from abusing its power. They believed they could do this by having three separate branches of government: the executive, the legislative, and the judicial. This separation is described in the first three articles or sections of the Constitution. The legislative branch is made up of two houses of Congress, the Senate and the House of Representatives. The most important duty of the legislative branch is to make laws. Laws are written, discussed, and voted on in Congress. There are over 100 senators in the Senate. Two from each state. Senators are elected by their states and serve 6-year terms. The Vice President of the U.S. is considered the head of the Senate, but does not vote in the Senate unless there is a tie. The Senate approves nominations made by the President of the Cabinet, the Supreme Court, federal courts, and other posts. The Senate must ratify all treaties by a 2/3 vote. There are 435 representatives in the House of Representatives. The numbers of representatives each state gets is based on its population. For example, California has many more representatives than Rhode Island. When census figures determine that the population of the state has changed significantly, the number of representatives in that state may shift proportionally. Representatives are elected by their states and serve 2-year terms. The Speaker of the House, elected by the representatives, is considered the head of the House. Here's an example of the old law about prohibiting alcohol to be consumed, which later became known as the Prohibition. And after that bill is proposed, it still has to get debated in a committee, then it gets debated in the House of Representatives, and then ultimately passed. Then the bill has to get debated again in the Senate, and then passed, and then it has to go to a conference committee to resolve between the House form of the bill and the Senate form of the bill. President then can sign the bill, veto the bill, or leave the bill. After 10 days, if Congress is still in session, the bill becomes law, and after 10 days, if Congress is not in session, the bill will ultimately go away. Even after the law is passed, it can still go back through Congress if they want to veto it based on how it's doing in the public. Here is that same prohibition law going back through Congress for them to veto it due to the reactions of the public. The Congress also has a lot more powers than just approving laws. They can declare war on other countries if they propose a threat to the United States, but only the president can deploy the troops to that certain area. Here's an example of the Congress declaring war. Now you know the basics of the legislative branch. Here are some extra facts that can improve your knowledge on this certain branch of government. And there you have it, the many things you need to know about the legislative branch, who it applies to, and what they do.
block? Who sell out in the stores? You tell me who flop. Who cop the blue drop? Who jewels got blocks? Who's mostly Dolce down to the two top? The same old pimp. Mace, you know ain't nothing changed but my limp. Can't stop till I see my name on the blimp.
Oh, 1:30.
This is a new law we're proposing on banning the consumption of alcohol.
I think it's valid. I think I agree with it, yeah.
Yeah, I really agree with that.
So, where?
Took the pen, Shredzy.
End scene. There you go. That was good.